Hey, everybody, and welcome to Wowza Webcasts. My name is Justin Miller, and I am here with Tim Doherty. Tim, hey, how's it going?
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Wow's a webcast. I love it. This is exciting.
Well, this webcast is about streaming predictions for this next decade. So basically, 2020 predictions, the future of streaming.
I don't have my
And we've got
crystal
about,
ball, so sorry I interrupted you.
what's that?
I don't have my crystal ball, so I'll
Yeah,
give it
yeah.
my best shot.
Hard to guess about these things, certainly, but we had this blog that just came out recently where we talked about current trends in streaming, and we wanted to give a few predictions just based off of that. So I'm going to start the predictions off, and we'll sort of discuss what we thought of these predictions, what we think is going to happen in the next few years, and take it from there. So number one, 5G technology will enable smart cities.
That's an interesting prediction. I went with one of my colleagues at Wowza down to this event in Los Angeles called Mobile World Congress, and I was impressed with how much I learned about 5G in the short time that we were there. Um, so I'm excited about 5G. I mean, I have a kind of a love hate with it because when I recently purchased an iPhone that I didn't know until after I bought it that it didn't have 5G. No big deal, but I was underwhelmed with the lack of availability of 5G. Generally speaking, that's not to say it isn't going to grow. But when I'm at Mobile World Congress, I saw so many people talking about smart cities and leveraging 5G technology. So it seems like there's some real opportunity for streaming there as 5G begins to grow. I for some reason when you mention that when you say 5G, I think about these smart cities, which looks a lot like more IoT, but smarter IoT, maybe industrial IoT type of devices and cameras and such. So I could see streaming really growing when 5G kind of comes of age.
Yeah, I think it's that just continuation of the Internet of Things, how everything is now connected. I mean, every time my laundry's done, I get a notification on my phone.
Really?
And that's the way things are certainly in your house. That's easy to do because, you might have a very good Wi-Fi network at your house. But like you say, when you're talking about a city, when you're talking about places where only wireless access is going to be available, and then there's the issues of powering those things, what are
Mm,
you going to do? So, with 5G, with the ability to be able to have the same kind of data streaming using way less power, it's definitely a great option in the future. But it really requires people to sort of jump on board and say, yeah, we want to make this happen. I mean, just think about it. Do you own an iPad?
oh yeah, absolutely.
Is it Does it have cellular connectivity?
No, I'm not that bold with my expenditures. I just tether it to my phone like a peasant.
But that's the big thing, right? Everybody would have to have that kind of cellular connectivity on
Yeah,
their systems in order to really power a smart city, as it were,
sure.
with those analytics from anywhere.
Well, just having worked with Wowza for quite some time, it's not uncommon at all for people to approach us wanting to improve their IPTV network, for example. City of Seattle is an example of one. If you go to their website, you can see a whole bunch of cool cameras and bridges. And Seattle's a picturesque city, so you actually get some pretty decent content. But that type of use case where you've got cameras located all over a metropolitan area for traffic, and unfortunately, a lot of it's surveillance, but there's probably more good than bad in that, and I don't want to go into the moral approach to people invading your privacy or lack of. But what is interesting to me is understanding that 5G is going to grow, understanding that will make more data, more bandwidth, more efficiency with the network come of age. I think we'll be more involved with that as our company, helping people aggregate and manage all of those streams from distant locations into one central location where they can be recorded and packaged in different forms and basically handled, aggregated in one place. So that's what I'm kind of looking forward to with 5G coming of age. More opportunity for us to help cities and organizations build out their IP camera,
Right. And as you're
that kind of
saying,
thing.
video analytics is a huge part of it. I mean, there's so much data we can get from video today, and especially because now cameras have these options with them with pan tilt zoom to be able to follow objects, where
Hmm.
before, this wasn't necessarily a capability. I mean, I feel like just with with the invention of like the Osmo, we have these systems now where we're tracking faces, uh, we're tracking. I'm thinking animals in my mind right now because as we're watching migrations or tracking to see what kind of pets are loose in a city. These are things where we can actually track where they're going, not just what they are, which we can. We can actually look at their specific shape as they're moving across and say,
Totally.
this is a
Totally.
cat.
I've got kind of a cool case in point. A friend of mine lives here in the community. I help him set up some Ring, excuse me, they were Canary security cameras. He owns a construction company, and it's out on a probably a 3-acre lot in an industrial area, and now he's got 6 Canary cameras all running on Wi-Fi. This has nothing to do with Wowza, and he showed me a video last weekend, just Saturday, of a fox going through his yard. So he's got all this construction equipment, steamrollers and tractors and dump trucks and water trucks. It's a pretty significant storage area, but we're tracking these foxes going across in the middle of the night. And it's so crazy to see a fox on a camera in an industrial urban area. Maybe I'm off track. Sorry, but we're going to be tracking animals. We're going to see different. It's just amazing what ends up on the camera, and if we can see that, I think it will enhance what people get out of the content itself.
All right, the next one we got number 2 here is streaming services will soon be supported by advertising. And when we're thinking about it right now, I mean, you look at streaming services, and we have so many more than just Netflix today. I personally, I have Disney. Decided not to go with Hulu. I do have Amazon Prime. I do have, well, like I said, Netflix. I am considering getting the CBS one, and because I've been watching Picard. Had to do the 7-day trial, and then there's of course YouTube's Red, which, well, I don't think it's caught on as well right now. It definitely has some shows. It's starting to get out there. But point being is that we're seeing this streaming services war right now.
Mm-hmm.
And this war of the services, or as these giants are taking part of being in these services now, maybe a couple years, but eventually I think it's going to go away from this model of being supported via subscription and move to something where advertising once again is taking over. And that may not be, like we said, not in 2020, may not be in 2021, but I think slowly we're going to see a shift back as these streaming services wars start to end.
Yeah. Well, if you can keep the cost down as little as 0 in some cases, and you can just watch a few ads, I don't mind clicking through a couple ads if it's not the most important content to me. But I'll tell you what, if it's something that I love watching and they're throwing ads at me every 3 minutes, I think I'd be annoyed. So there'll probably be some sort of balance to that. There'll probably be smarter advertising too, where maybe it's strategic product placement, things of that nature. But it makes sense. I don't like it. I think as a consumer, I mean, wouldn't you rather or like to have the option like YouTube provides, where just on their regular YouTube service, not the TV service, I think you can pay like $5 a month and not receive those ads at the beginning of YouTube videos?
Well, I think on a general basis, just as we look at apps right now, there are plenty of apps out there that are free. But as soon as, if you want to not have to watch the advertisements that are within those free apps, then you pay that $2.99 or $5.95, and boom, they're gone. So I could see that happening too. People say, okay, yeah, I would rather pay that extra $5-10 for the streaming service. And in some cases, sure, we're talking about $5 or $10, but then you look at, let's say, AT&T Now, which is still streaming all of your broadcasting channels.
Yep, I've got
and
it.
that's up to what, like $65 a month?
Yes. It is. It's funny you would mention the 65 bucks a month because I was going to bring up how, my wife and I, as we should, have a conversation and we're like, oh my gosh, we're spending 15 bucks a month for Netflix because we got to have 4K, 65 bucks a month for AT&T. That includes HBO, by the way, because I've got to have my Curb Your Enthusiasm. But anyway, and then I think I've got Disney Plus. If you add it up, it's always hovering around $100 a month. And if ad supported, um, services start to become more prevalent and I can get Hulu for like nothing or basically free, I'm going to check out Hulu, but I'm really hesitant to sign on another $5 nickel and dime expense because they always add up. Think about that, you know? So maybe
Yep.
that's kind of a silver lining for us as consumers. We'll get exposed to more content, but we can hone in on what we really like and drop $5 here for what we spend a lot of time doing.
And I'm
I don't
just
know.
saying, if we have the options,
Yeah.
but that's what you're
Yeah.
talking about. You're saying, can I have the option to pay for this service and not have to worry about advertisements, or will I just suck it up and say, you know what, I'm spending so much money, I'd rather get my entertainment and I'll deal with the advertisements.
Yeah. No,
And
that's yeah.
that kind of brings us into our next point, which is that number three, advertising itself will become more personalized. And
Yeah.
when I talk about that, what I mean is maybe even not just focused on you're a subscriber to something. So they know who you are. They know the things you like. They're interested in knowing what you want to view. And they maybe have connections to things like Google AdSense, where they already know what you're looking at online to purchase. So they may be pushing those ads to you directly. But they could also embed these ads into video. So instead, when you watch something that is video on demand, they might already have some sort of system in the background processing the next 20 minutes in advance, where they're somehow placing an advertisement, say behind the scenes. It's not part of the main story, but maybe it's happening in the corner. So you can check it out, and maybe if you're interested in buying that, clicking on it, sort of like in Amazon Prime. I don't know if you have Amazon Prime. I'm going to assume you do by this
Dude,
point.
have you heard of the internet? I mean, come on, Justin.
Well, they have that X-ray option, right? Where you can go and you can, when there's certain actors on the screen, you hit the X-ray thing, and they'll tell you who those actors are. You can get more details about them.
Ah, okay,
Same thing
okay.
could go with advertising, right?
Hmm.
If you really wanted to know more about a product, or in the case of fashion, what that person is wearing, something to that extent, or where you can buy it, boom, you
Yeah,
easily have access to that information. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, if I want to know where something that I thought looked really cool on a show, where I could go buy it, who wouldn't want to sell it to me?
right, right. And we need to kind of throw the disclaimer out there because you and I could probably rant for a while on the paranoia of Alexa, Google Home, and even Siri listening to our conversations and gathering data about what to target us with. So we'll leave that one aside. But I do think that that tailored advertising in shorter bursts is much better than old school like OTA broadcasts where we as kids would sit there and watch commercials ad nauseum, for 5 minutes on breaks, and that kind of sucks. I mean, I'm all for my experience, including what ads I'm viewing, to be much more interesting to me. And I have to tell you, as a consumer, I'm being more drawn into to targeted advertising than I ever have in my entire life. I've actually bought things that have been advertised to me. I shouldn't have said that out loud because Google's listening in the other room.
I appreciate the buttons that I see on advertisements today that says, if you're not interested in this anymore, we won't show it to you. So I definitely prefer when I have the option to see it or not to see it, especially because I tend to buy things and the internet doesn't know I bought them, so it keeps sending me the ads, and that is super annoying. But if they were, like I said, embedded, so I could enjoy a show at my leisure, and if I wanted to pause it and be interested in something, I could. That's great. That's I feel like in some ways interactive television at its best.
Sure. Yeah, we'll see where it all goes. But ad serving, ad insertion, a lot of these topics having to do with advertising are typical for us inside of Wowza. It's really challenging to engineer, especially server-side advertising. But I have a feeling we'll be knee-deep in it for quite some time. And I actually look forward to it getting better and more specialized
Yeah.
to us as consumers.
No, me too. All right, I'm going to end with number 4 here. That augmented reality will come more to the forefront than virtual reality has in the last decade. And it's partially because of streaming and the fact that it will take advantage of it. Augmented reality to me means you're adding to your current environment.
Okay.
So, for example, sure, you could wear the same Oculus goggles, that you are for virtual reality,
But that's
but you can
virtual.
see
Yeah.
straight through them. Like you might do with Google Glass. Only with a heads-up display, it adds information to your viewing experience.
Yeah.
So in the case of augmented reality, it might actually replace information or add information or give you more information for, say, people who are working in a very technical, mechanical environment. Maybe they need help with the equipment they're working on. And maybe the the augmented reality
Yep.
might actually be able to measure what they're doing, tell them how many turns of the screwdriver they just took,
Oh
information like
yeah.
that. If we take it to another level in terms of streaming, I'm saying just like we see so many kids right now, and it's been a while. I shouldn't even say now. I'm old. My God. I was about to say the Pokemon Go game. I'll go out with my kids and play that, and they'll play it. It's augmented reality. There's parts where they hold the camera up and they see where the Pikachu is hiding somewhere
Sure.
in order to catch it. But I mean, think about that when it's actually augmented and you're wearing goggles and you're just walking around, and sure, cars are going by and it recognizes that cars are going by, and it
Yeah.
might even put advertisements on the cars
Hmm.
as they go by, which is, there you go, ad insertion once
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
But it's also allowing you to follow that Pikachu running down the street.
Mhm. I think it's very interesting that you said mechanical when you're speaking earlier,
Yeah.
and I do most of my own auto maintenance work, and often, in fact, most of the time, um, I'm using YouTube. I'm watching a mechanic tell me how to take the back brakes off of my car. It would be amazing to have glasses that I could just, do some sort of gesture and watch the video without having to use my hands and then stop it and do it. And I mean, I couldn't imagine how augmented reality would help a training type of situation, a tactical type of situation. Remember I think about it all the time in the movie The Matrix when Trinity got a download of how to fly that helicopter. I feel like YouTube and instructional videos that even if you're using it just on your phone, but I couldn't imagine the power of having it in like a, pair of glasses, being able to boom,
Right.
augmented reality, watch a training video right there, pause, start, pause, start. It'd just be great.
But more of a realistic way that
Yeah.
information can be given to you when you need it immediately,
Hmm.
and not
Hmm.
just as auditory information, but actually giving you visual content of being like, oh, these two pipes connect together in this way, and then this is what I'm going to have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
hear you.
there are a lot of technology hurdles. The form factor. You want to talk about this year, maybe this decade, but I'll tell you, streaming. I mean, we have to keep it anchored to streaming because we're streaming guys. There's no reason why you couldn't stream out to a augmented reality headset or even a phone when it's you could mix a live camera feed with a video overlay. The
Hmm.
sky's the limit, but it's really interesting to think about how streaming will definitely be used with that augmented reality concept.
Well, in many ways, that's why we're talking about it in terms of streaming, not just augmented reality on its own. Because if it was just, augmented reality options, you might be stuck into what app is available on your phone or what network you have nearby. But once we're talking about a more large, comprehensive network that is, let's say, in a smart city, people need certain information, it just pops up. I mean,
Yeah.
how weird would that be in the future is if everybody was wearing, let's say, augmented reality goggles and we didn't even need stop signs anymore. Instead, those signs just appear there through our goggles.
Yeah. No, it's crazy as it sounds. There's a lot of economic opportunity there. You know,
Yeah.
you no longer have to go out and put stop signs in. You can just force people to be cyborgs and wear their AI or their augmented reality glasses.
Well, you remember, what was it? Even 15 years ago, everybody was wearing Bluetooth
Oh
headphones,
no! Oh, I hated that
and
era. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those big earrings people had on.
yeah,
Go on,
yeah, the
go on.
giant ones. But now, now they're smaller, and now, and now they're, iPods, right?
Oh yeah,
So things change, but yet things stay the same.
I have one right
Yeah.
here. It's pretty exciting. Look at that. So
I,
I'm a
I,
member
I
of the. Go on, go
my
on.
wife wears them all the time. I can't stand it because I never know if she's talking to somebody else or listening to me or listening to
Right,
music.
right.
And so, we've just come back to that again.
Uh huh.
But
But
I'm
it's
not saying
cool
it's
because it's from Apple, right? If it's like from Motorola and it's the size of your fist, it's hanging on your ear. That's not cool. I see some people still wearing those. By the way, they didn't get the memo.
okay. You know what? We've dropped so many names of companies. I'm going to have to
Ah!
put a disclaimer at the beginning of
Oh
this.
no, you're right. Excuse me. Yeah, you're gonna have to
All
mute
right.
me. Maybe I'm not the best guy for this, Justin. I don't know. Having too much fun.
All
I
right.
love Motorola products. I just
Hey,
didn't
I
like.
do too. And all I was saying was in reference to this is, that happened with earbuds. Now, then Google tried to get it with glasses.
Uh,
Now maybe it's going to come back in style. We'll see.
we shall see.
Well, hey Tim, I think you've cut out a couple times here. You've
Okay.
cut out again. I don't know if it's my internet connection that's unstable. I think
Okay.
it's my internet connection that's unstable.
Okay.
But hey, I want to thank you for coming out and talking to me about this, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Justin. Thanks for
All right.
inviting me. I hope it was helpful. And yeah, until next time.
All right. And for everyone else, if you're interested in learning more about streaming trends, you can check out our blog on our website. All right. Take care and have a great day.